Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the fight game. Today we are going to be breaking down the fight between Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblet on UFC 324. This fight is going to be happening for the interim title due to Ilia Topuria controversy. Because Ilia Topuria is sitting on the sidelines right now. He's going to be facing the winner between Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblet. But anyways, this is not about Ilia Topuria. This is about the fight between Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblet. So let's get started. Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblet. This is a good fight. I mean, I like the fight. I'm a fan of it. This is Justin Gaethje's last chance for the UFC title. You know, he's gone up there in the age. He's coming off. He came off a good win against Rafael Fiziev, his last fight, but before that fight, he got knocked out by Max Holloway, which was really sad to see. But, it was still a great fight to see Justin Gaethje have a war, and he's had so many fun fights in his career. Paddy Pimblet is on a great win streak right now. He has very good jiu-jitsu. He has pretty decent striking, I'd say. It's a 50-50 fight, a very good, close 50-50 fight. As for my prediction, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go with my heart here. I think I got Justin Gaethje. And I believe if it's standing, like Paddy says he wants to stand, I believe it's going to be a rude awakening for Paddy than if he just stands there with Justin Gaethje and strikes. I hope I got Justin Gaethje by a 5th round KO. I think it's going to be late in the fight, in the 5th round. I think Paddy will get a few takedowns here and there, but I believe Justin will get back up. And then I believe Justin's pressure will get Paddy tired and exhausted during the end of the fight. And as for Paddy Pimblet, ladies and gentlemen, I think he's a good fighter. I think he's pretty decent, But I'm not really a fan of Paddy Pimblet's resume, ladies and gentlemen. Here's why. So, he fought this guy in 2022, December, Jared Gordon. And personally, I thought Paddy lost that. A bunch of people thought Paddy lost that. I thought Jared Gordon was clipping him. I thought he was... Jared Gordon was clipping him. And then and personally, Paddy had his chin wide open, up in the air, and Paddy looked tired. And personally, I didn't really give Paddy any round that fight. I thought Jared Gordon won the fight convincingly. They just gave it to Paddy, which was a robbery, in my opinion. It was pretty disappointing to see. But besides that, Paddy was on a layoff for a year. Then he decides to fight Tony Ferguson. Listen, I love Tony Ferguson personally. He's a great fighter. I'm a huge fan of him. But at that time, Tony Ferguson was like in a 7-fight lose streak, ladies and gentlemen. 7-8 lose streak at the time, ladies and gentlemen. And that was not an impressive win by Paddy either, in my opinion, in my personal opinion. Yes, Paddy knocked Tony down, but that was a shell of his former self, Tony. And third thing, In the third round, Paddy was exhausted. He was tired. Tony Ferguson almost finished him, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. But then it's just Tony was too old. Paddy beat him due to Tony not being in his prime no more, ladies and gentlemen. We all know what prime Tony would have done to Paddy Pimblet. Listen, this is not a hate at Paddy Pimblet. I personally like the guy. I'm a fan of him. I just don't really like I'm not a fan of his resume, though, ladies and gentlemen. And then after Tony, he fought Bobby Green. Bobby Green, ladies and gentlemen. Bobby Green, don't get me wrong. He's a very great fighter. A very good fighter. I like him, personally. I think he's a good fighter, too. But he's not... he's a little chinny now, ladies and gentlemen. Before that, he fought... before Paddy, he fought Jim Miller. Jim Miller was like 40 years old. Still a good win by Bobby Green, though, because Bobby Green is close there in age, too. But before that, Bobby Green got knocked out by Jalen Turner. And it was a vicious KO. And third thing, Bobby Green was old, coming off a loss 2 fights ago. And then we go to the next opponent of Paddy Pimblet, Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler is a complete bum, ladies and gentlemen. He's washed up. He would even lose to Conor McGregor in this stage of his career, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to say this right now. He would even lose to Conor McGregor at this stage. Michael Chandler, ladies and gentlemen. Paddy Pimblet beat a guy who's like 2-6 in the UFC. Michael Chandler only has 2 wins. Dan Hooker, when Dan Hooker was on some loss streaks, right now I believe if Dan Hooker fought Michael Chandler, I believe Dan Hooker would win. That's just my opinion. And then he fought Tony. Tony was coming off like a 5-lose streak or something at that time. That was not even impressive. That was like not even impressive, Paddy, to beat Michael Chandler. Like, don't get me wrong. I was rooting for Paddy in that fight, and I was going for Paddy in that fight. I knew Paddy was going to win that against Michael Chandler. But that was not really impressive. He beat someone who's like 2-6 in the UFC, 2-7. Like, not impressive, dude. And then now he's getting the interim title. He was going to get the title shot before Justin Gaethje against Ilia Topuria. That was unfair to Justin Gaethje, in my opinion, even though Justin Gaethje is getting up there in age and had 1 win too. But personally, this is a good fight. I'm kind of glad it's happening. I think it's going to be a great fight. I got Justin Gaethje winning, but I wouldn't be surprised if Paddy wins, though. But I think I want Justin Gaethje to win. He's been one of my favorite fighters for years and stuff. But as for that, who do you all think is going to win? What is your all's prediction? I want you all to let me know in the comments. And I want you all to like and subscribe. And I'll see you all in my next breakdown. Peace out.